So I remember it was a moment where we got to the hospital and it was time to check in, and you have to fill out this form for your wife, and in the middle of the lobby she's having contractions, and so I'm filling everything out, I'm killing it, and then I get to this one question where I just freeze up, and then
That even if I go through the fire, I'm right there beside you. Even if I'm facing Goliath.
yeah, welcome back, Luke.
Man,
Welcome
it's
back,
good to be back, bro.
Man, this what it's been 2 months.
Yeah, man, it's been 2 months.
2 months.
Right?
2 months, man. It felt like forever, man. Life it's been crazy, but it's been a blessing too, dude. Like I couldn't wait to get back recording. Like I had so much quiet time where I had nothing but my thoughts. I was just praying a lot, observing a lot, things that's going on with the culture, and just reflecting on my life, reflecting on the podcast, the direction we want to go, everything, man.
Yeah.
And it's been good. It's been healthy, a healthy time of rest to get my family established in this new season, having 3 kids, 3 boys. We definitely overestimated the adjustment. Like it's
You said you overestimated it?
overestimated.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
like
good.
we thought it was gonna. I thought it was gonna be easier. But just because we already had 2, and it's 2 of the same, you know what I'm saying? But hold on, 2 of the same, and nah, it's been challenging, man. It's definitely been challenging because you got a 5-year-old, you got a 2-year-old, and you got a newborn. And these boys, their energy is insane, bro. Like it's like don't stop. Like you physically, especially for my 2-year-old Miles, like that kid's a lot. Like
Yeah.
that kid's a lot. I love him. I love him, but that man is a lot, boy. Like you see him, you know he mean trouble. Like he just come to just wreck shop, man. Like, but it's been a blessing, man, for this little guy. He's so tough. He's so tough, man, and he just want to fight. He just want to fight all the time. No matter how bad I discipline him, like he'll fight me back, And I just be like, yo, little dude, like Erica, like walk away.
How do you win?
Like walk away, babe, walk away. I just want to punch him like right in the head. But it's been good, man. But I just want to tell everybody the experience that I had. This time around, my wife and I, we decided to go all natural. Like we did the entire process of this pregnancy. We took everything serious. We educated ourselves. We took classes. We took a doula class that was like a 10-week course. And, we learned so much. And we were the only people in the class that had kids already. Everybody else, it was their first time. So we had the experience of getting an epidural, so we know what that was like. And with Memphis, she barely got the epidural because it was mostly my fault, like Black Panther had came out, like come
Please
on.
elaborate. Please elaborate.
So I remember that I never forget because she was pissed, and so we Black Panther was out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we go to the movie, that's $40 right there. And, we sit down right away, bro. Right away. She started getting contractions. Like she's grabbing me. She's like, babe, you need to time these. I'm like right now? Like the credits. It's like not the credits, the freaking
The opening intro.
intro. Everything's just starting, right? And she's like, yeah, babe, they start. And I was like, can you hold it? Like, like, babe, can you hold it? Like, it just started. She said, okay, I'll try to hold it. And like, she was a champ, man, but she squeezed me probably about 100 times, and I'm timing them joints. We finally get back home. It's like 11 midnight.
Yo, Black Panther's like a 3-hour
Hey, yo,
movie.
hey, that first one though, hit.
This dude was on his pimp thing back then. He's like, hey, you gonna wait.
Hey, we waiting. I've been waiting a long time for this, man. We gotta watch this joke.
It's like, you don't understand the black struggle like me. Like, Like, this is our movie.
Yo, we was dying, bro. We got home. The contractions by then was probably like, bro, like 3-4 minutes apart. I was like, she was like, oh yeah, we gotta go.
Why'd you take her home? Like, why didn't you just go straight
Bro,
to the hospital?
I'm gonna tell you how bad it was. I'm gonna tell you how bad I was, bro. I tried to get in the bed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, make sure she could sleep it out. This first time, I'm a first time parent, you know. So I said, like, Erica, like, nah, babe, we gotta go. You know? I was like, man, let's go. So my crazy butt, we get to the hospital. I'm super chill, bro. Like, I ain't even tripping, you know. Like, I'm just like, like, it's gonna happen, you know. And I think we was in triage, and I think I don't know if it was March Madness or something was going on around that time. Not yet.
This dude was watching March Madness too.
I was trying to watch highlights. I was like on my phone, bro, like this, like trying to watch highlights. Why she going through it, bro? She saw me on the phone. She said, if you don't get off that phone, I'm gonna break you. Like I ain't never heard Erica. You see Erica, she like the sweetest person, bro. She turned aggressive so fast, bro. Like I just put my phone. I said, "You right, babe." I scooted close to the bed like this. I was like, "This okay."
That's crazy.
I was like, "Okay, man, okay, all right, I'm right here with you, babe." But she had barely.
Y'all
got
gotta keep in mind, at this point, Adrian's grown too. He's like,
I'm grown.
His first baby wasn't 21. He's 30 years old. Like, he's a grown man.
Yo,
he's in his ways right now. That's
bro,
so funny.
a heathenism.
Oh gosh, bro.
Yeah, man, but we barely
wait, but let's flash back. Okay, sorry to cut you off. That detour. So now you're in the waiting room. You're stuck out of question. So that's where we're at. What was the question that had you froze?
What? Wait, right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get to the hospital. And this is for Mateo, like this one. And they, at the hospital out here, Mercy Gilbert, great hospital. I love Mercy Gilbert, if anybody works there. But it's a little form, right? Basic information. You fill it out, boom, Erica's going off. Like, she's like loud, going through her, like, her contractions. She's breathing through them. And the doula's next to her, like, while she's in the wheelchair, just like, that's good, just breathe through them. And I'm trying to feel this thing out. It gets to the part where it says social security number. And I'm like, I like look at the nurse. I said, do I need to fill this out? She was like, she looked at me, yes, we need that too. I'm like, you gotta be loud like that? Like, dang. I'm like, can I skip it? You know, you see her like, she was like, no, we need the social security number, sir. So I looked to Erica. Erica's like, oh, like going through, and I'm like, shoot. Like, God. So I like lean in. I'm like, I said, hey, babe.
She's like, 6, 7, 2, dash.
I'm like, I need your social security number. You need what? You don't know my fucking social security number. Like, I'm like this. I'm like, the longer it takes, babe. You know, like, hurry up, like, give it to me. And then she give it to me, and I misheard the last 4, and I asked again. I said, what was the last 4 again? Like, she pissed. The hospital is doing a shift change. All the nurses are congregated out there in the lobby. Bro, it's crazy. And they looking like, who gonna get this? Who gonna get her? You know, like, while they trying to figure stuff out. But it was, bro, we got to the room. It was amazing, man. Erica, my wife, yo, like, and look, and shout out, I'm gonna take a minute real quick. Shout out to all the women out there, like, that have went through this process of going natural. Epidural is cool. We did that too. Like, ain't no shame in that at all. But for me to witness what God actually made women to do, like, it was freaking blowing my mind. And most of y'all never seen my wife. She's only 4'11". She's barely taller than this mic. And for her to give birth naturally to a 8.5-pound boy, like, was crazy, man. Like, she was such a warrior, such a champion, man. Like, her, but it was a part where he was coming out, and I guess they call it the ring of fire, and the shoulders were coming through, bro. Like, his shoulders was coming out that thing. Bro, she screamed so loud. It sounded like I never heard her scream like this, and she screamed at me a lot, but I ain't never heard this type of like painful, like somebody like carving you. Like it was crazy, but it's quick, cause soon as they get past that, it's done. And that man came out that thing like a slip and slide, boy, like fast. Like he was startled cause she pushed him out so quick, because honestly, it was at a point where I was just staying quiet and staying ready, because I had already messed up so much, not being ready. But it got to a point where she got tired, and they were telling Erica, like, hey, we just need one more push. And I was like, hey, babe, just take a dump. Like, it's the same muscles. And she did it, and like, and he flew out. She tore a little bit. But, like, she a champ, bro. Like, it was just amazing just seeing the whole thing, bro.
That baby's big, bro. My sister-in-law's probably like 5 foot. All her babies was just like little bitty babies, bro. 8-pound baby.
He big,
crazy.
bro. Yeah,
that's
bro.
crazy. For her height.
Yeah, for him to come out of her, like that was crazy. She was only 39 weeks. Like, that's crazy, man. Like, but it makes you just kind of sit back and just look at the landscape of our country too, man. Just with everything, just how easy they get to dismiss women. We're allowing women to be dismissed and get just bombarded and ran over like they just have no value when they are the value. Like, it's crazy to me. Like,
bizarre,
bro. Like,
and it's like women buy into that too, unfortunately.
Sad, right?
Crazier, yeah.
That's messed up. Like, how I don't get it, bro. It's just
bro. It's like everything you're saying. I'm just like, yo. And while this is happening on TikTok, they're discussing what a woman is. It's like, bro. Like, what? What? Do y'all like not even understand what life is and And it's like, go to any trans man. Do you really want to give birth?
Bro, I'm telling you, you don't want them problems, bro. Like, it sound cool to say it, like, and you think that, like, in your whatever mind state you in, until you really understand what women go through physically, what their bodies are made for, bro. I ain't trying to get. Ain't no way a man want any part of that lane, bro. Yeah. Like their bodies are so uniquely and beautifully made, for nurturing, for giving, just being the first teacher of the baby for the child. Period, man. It's just
It's crazy, bro. It's like it's so arrogant to think that you can just become a woman. It's crazy. Like,
as far back as you can think about humanity, what did it start with? As far back as you can think. Man and a woman. Mm-hmm. It ain't nothing. Everybody gotta pass through a woman. You have to. Even God,
right?
He did it.
He didn't come through Joseph.
He didn't come through Joseph.
My guy, come here real quick,
Joseph. Joe, I just need you to, marry her now. But I'm gonna come through that thing. But
it's crazy.
But it's crazy, right? Like, man, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Bro, when I first saw it, when my wife first gave birth, I recorded it and I just could not stop watching it. I'm like, yo, there was nothing, and then there was a whole bloody child. Like what? It's like it's crazy, bro. The way it works, the way they fit through it. Because I was like, how is this really about to happen? Like,
it's crazy, man. They go from being out here to everything just.
It's crazy. It's a beautiful thing, man.
It is, and it's a blessing because it's a miracle to have a child. You realize how much of a miracle it is to have one child. Mm-hmm. And we've lost 3. Like, this is her 6th time being pregnant. Yeah. And for us to even have one is a miracle. And to just witness it happen, God, to trust these children to us, we don't take it for granted. And for me and my wife, we understand that for our boys, we're starting. Like, we come from a foundation that's not really solid on God. It doesn't have a foundation of that. And we're trying to be that new foundation for our 3 kings, right? And we understand that that's going to come with some conflict, some pressure, and some people not really liking it. But I don't care, That's what happens when you start something new. Mm-hmm. And but they going to appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? They going to appreciate it. Our boys going to appreciate it. And just the adjusting in this time, I'm so grateful for God's grace and His covering, because it has been challenging, man. It has. We haven't we haven't tried to kill each other. It's been such a good unison of unity with us, and just how we both just been tag teaming it and really taking this time with Mateo, just taking it in because he's the last one. You know what I'm saying? I already got zipped up. I'm done. I said, we done, baby. Zip. We out of here. So that's all I get. That's all we got. And it's just been good. It's been rough. You know, so for my wife, she's finally now more mobile than she's been. Just because he did a little damage down there. He did his thing. But emotionally, that's what I wanted to get to. Emotionally, by her not being medicated on anything, she didn't even get an IV, bro. Like, she wasn't tied to anything.
That's crazy.
She was standing up, then she got in the bed. Like, she didn't have nothing strapped to her. And I think because she dealt with some postpartum depression with Memphis, I remember that, and just how much pain she went through with Miles because of the epidural. This time, emotionally, mentally, like, she's her headspace, spiritually, like, she's been like the best. Besides the physical part of it, I think the biggest thing that we took away was just how emotionally, I guess, present she's been. Like, that's been the best thing I've seen, like, this whole time. And yeah, it's been really good, man. It's been really good.
One thing my sister was telling me, she said, like, when you're having a baby, you literally have a soul growing inside of you, and then that soul is gonna, like, become its own thing and like leave you. And it's interesting, like, with the epidural thing, because it's like, while the baby's still in you, there's that detachment, you know, that the baby has from you, and it's like super abrupt. And it's almost like it's this unnatural type of thing where he can't really escape. It's like he's isolated spiritually before he's actually out of you, you know. It's
Yeah, that's good.
Kind of an interesting thing to
It
think
is
about.
interesting, but it ain't too. I can see what she mean by that, and I think that's why that ties into the emotional attachment that women have, and it's some of our friends have dealt with it probably months after having the kid because of things that they may have struggled with. And you don't know how postpartum is going to work. Yeah. And, you know, me as a man and the men that I've been able to talk to, the friends that I've been able to talk to that had recently had babies or was having their first kid, the advice I was giving them, just pay attention to your wife, like, know her, like, study her so you can know the signs. Because I remember when Erica went through postpartum, I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even trip. I wasn't like, what's wrong with you? Like, you need to breastfeed the baby and you need to figure this out. Like, no, I paid attention to how to make a baby latch. So since Erica didn't want to hold him, I latched him. Yeah, I was taking care of him. It was like a 2-week period where I did everything. And in her mind, she's like, how does Adrian, like, he got a kid or something? Like, just how I was functioning. It was like, nah, I mean, I was only around for my first nephew, but I paid attention. I just watched everything. I was observing, and I knew she wasn't herself. I knew it. I was like, man, she ain't even here, you know. But we had to figure it out. We got to make it happen. As a man, I'm responsible for everything, like, regardless if it's my fault or not. I got to figure it out. You know, I had to hold it down. And, you know, and I just thank God this time around, what she has liked this time around is that I'm around. Like, the other 2 times I haven't been home. Yeah. But this is the first time where I'm here, like, every day. I'm not gone off to work. Yeah. And at first, a part of that, you know, me being here, at first I felt, and I mean, you talked about this a little bit, I was feeling a little, I was questioning myself, like, whether I'm able to even lead this family or if I'm equipped enough to even do this, you know. Like, I kind of got overwhelmed a little bit once we brought them home, and I started realizing, like, yo, I got 3 kids. Like, man, I got and they all boys. Like, and it's like I was thinking negative thoughts before I started embracing it as a positive, you know, embracing the challenge that the fact that the Lord trusts me, trusts both of us to raise these boys. And, you know, I got past that real quick, but it can shake you a little bit once you get home and you just take a step back and just be like, dang, man, I got 3 kids, man. This was not in our plans at all. Like,
But But that is the best part of life. Bro, when you know that it's something's in God's plan, leave it there. You feel me? Because a lot of times we get to the point where God gives us something and we're like, okay, cool, I'm going to do it this way. And then once you decide to make that turn, God's like, all right, go ahead. You know, when you see it all throughout the Bible, God blesses the children of Israel. They say, thanks, God, we're going to worship Baal now. And then everything falls. And it's funny because like just the situation happened, like where my wife, she's out of town with my kids. And I'm like paranoid, like, how am I going to protect them? Because God said, Luke, I got it. Like, who do you think you are? Like, I've been protecting them since before they left. Like, I know even when they're with me, he's the one protecting them. And that humbled me. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that. And even my mom, she hit me up today and like, hey, you got to talk to your wife. Like, yada yada yada. I'm like, God got it. Like, ain't nothing gonna happen to him because I'm trusting it. I'm trusting my family in God's hands. You know.
Yeah.
But it's hard to see that, bro. It's just so easy to become overwhelmed because of what we see.
Yeah. The control part of it too, because when they're in our vicinity, we like, I got this.
100%, bro.
As long as you within my in what I can control, like I got this. But the second you step outside of that, like nervousness comes in. Yeah. But at some point, our faith has to be tested.
Exactly.
Especially with our family. You know, it's easy to have faith when things are going well.
Yeah.
It's always easy, like, because we always attach good things to God giving us blessings. Yep. It was like, Lord, thank you for these blessings, but maybe the blessing is He gives you peace when they're not around. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I want to talk to you about that too, because that's one thing that God kind of has been showing me is like the misconception about religion and Christianity in particular is we think because I have God, everything's going to be good. But there's a journey that goes along with the promise that God gives you. So you may not be blessed right now, and right now it may suck, but that doesn't mean God don't have something waiting for you ahead. But a lot of times when we get saved and we find God, we think it's going to be all just gravy. Everything's going to be great. Yeah. And then people, once they hit a bump in the road, they leave God. God ain't real. He's yada, yada, yada. But it's like God has a journey for us, but we decide to leave out of it, you know? And like you said, like even with the faith thing, when things are going good, you forget to have faith sometimes. You just know. It's not even like man, I'm sorry. I'm going around just been studying some stuff, but like you forget to have faith when things are going good sometimes. And that's the problem. A lot of times we have faith when things are, that's when we have we have faith. Oh, I can't see it. God, I trust you. Once you get it, all right, cool. I did it because I did A, B, C, D. I got the manual now, you know? Yeah. It's like God is showing me every single day, constantly being on your face, constantly being humble, constantly seeking after Him every single day, because what He told you yesterday may not even going to be what He wants you to do tomorrow. So you got to ask Him. You feel me?
Nah, it's relationship.
100%.
And your relationship with your friends and your spouse in regards to how that looks outwardly to people on the outside, kind of, especially if you're Christian, reflects your relationship with God. Wow. Because if you ain't really spending time or you ain't really pouring into or communicating properly with the relationships you have that you can see, you definitely ain't going to give time to nobody that you can't. Yeah. So I think that's...
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. You got to say that again. That was dope.
No, the relationships that you can physically see, like your wife, your friends, your children, if you're half-hearted in those relationships, you're not really doing you're not even doing anything that's edifying. You're not communicating properly. You're not pouring into them properly. No way you're going to do the same thing with God, who you can't see. So it's especially when you're new to Christ, I'll give you this because I'm happy you brought that up. New Christians, what happened is they come in. What I've seen in my time, especially serving, doing Bible studies, leading Bible studies, and leading all these men's groups and these marriage groups and things, they come in so fired up because the emotional side of it is first, and you don't realize that there's still a sanctification that has to happen, and not every church, not every pastor really preaches that or talk about that. And what happens, what I was grateful for is the discipleship program that taught me sanctification. And a lot of people come in want to skip the process. They just want to, God, take all of my issues away from me. I don't want to deal with anything. I just want the streets to be paved with gold in everything that I do. I want every door to be open. You told me that ask and I receive. That's not how it worked, though.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you come in with only the good things that you've heard about God from people out in the world, and the second you give your life to him or you get baptized, you bring those things in and not really knowing. That ain't really what he said. Yeah. You got to get in the word and really know what it means to have a relationship with him. You got to understand, you got to die to yourself and your desires.
Yeah.
Like, that has to happen. Because now that you've given God responsibility to you and access to you, he's going to do some cleaning up. He going to change your taste. You're not going to have a taste for certain things that you was liking at first. Does that mean he going to change your personality? No, you going to still be Luke. He's still going to make you fly. He's still going to make you talented how he wants you to make, but it's going to be your mindset and your perspective when it comes to difficult situations.
Yeah.
It's easy to rely on God when it's good. It's when the difficult time comes, how can we really trust him and have faith the size of a mustard seed? You know, like, that's when you realize if you even got that much faith.
Yeah. It's
when the hard times come. And it's definitely been something that I've struggled with in my walk. Thank God that we have a community around us where we can always talk like this and we can link up with other like-minded individuals and they can speak life over you and also encourage you to just stick with it, man. Like, nothing, he never said that follow him and it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
He said, wide is the road that leads to death.
He literally promises you a cross, bro. That's like, he said, take up your cross and come follow me. Like, that's the promise.
I don't know why we missed that. And we so ready to avoid the heavy. Like, bro, you know what it is to pick up your cross? Have you ever picked up any type of hardwood? Like, anything heavy? Like, you like, I don't know if, and just going back to football, let's look at it like this, like pushing a sled, doing anything that's resistance, that's heavy, that's pulling, pushing or pulling. And bro, that's what happens with life, you know, not relying on my understanding, you know, and that's what we fall trapped to because we want to know that we're the reason for the reason.
Exactly.
Like, we have to have that. Yeah, I believe in God, but I did this on my own. Mm-hmm. Really? People really think that they can do it on their own.
Yeah.
And man, the second you get that arrogant, prideful mindset, you play yourself right away. Yeah. To think that you have the audacity that can see beyond where you at. Like, okay, you can have dreams, you can have thoughts, you can have plans, but for us to truly think that we can manifest stuff, and come on, bro, like, I ain't gonna even play myself like that. If it's in God's will, it's gonna happen. Yeah. That's how I look at it. But you can't say that today, especially in black culture, bro. You can't say that because we got so many other cultural ideologies that we want outside of Christianity. We don't want Christianity because in the black community, it's looked at as the white man's religion. Mm-hmm. And I can't even front. That's how I used to think. And I had a narrow mindset. But being raised in the South, it was easy for me to have that mindset because I was in a box and I was around what I was around. Even the fact that how we was educated was different from up north and different from the West Coast, like just based off conversations I had with you and I'm like, bro, we learned about this coming up in school, and you like, nah, bro, we ain't do that. And I'm like, bro, we was watching freaking Roots in kindergarten, like not like first grade though, but still, like, why bro,
you ain't that much older than me for real? First grade,
bro. First grade, bro.
Crazy,
like
bro.
We was watching stuff like crazy, and we'll have like one white kid in the class, and we'll look at him. Like, bro, traumatized. Like, I'm like, we cool with them at first, but the second we watch that, we look like this.
Yeah, y'all did what?
We said, so this what y'all on, huh? So, but that's what we deal with in our culture. So for me, what I've been doing and I'm so happy that I've always been this way, man. And the friends, thank God for the friends that I had, because they never and I don't. They still like this to this day. Like, they don't follow nothing. Like, they just go with what they go with. But I'm happy that I got to see that, and I just applied it in a different way. So when it came to me wanting to know God, I really looked into this thing. I really did the time, did the reading, and you realize that it's way more vast. And I'm going to do a different episode because I've been reading this book, Urban Apologetics, Restoring Black Dignity, and it's really with the gospel, restoring Black dignity with the gospel with Eric Mason, Dr. Eric Mason. He's a noob too, so shout out to Dr. Eric Mason. But I'm going to do a review on that book. We're gonna discuss it, but it's really good, bro. Like it's so much meat in that. I can't wait to talk about it. But I digress, man. You know, it's so much we could talk about.
Yeah, for real, bro. Sticking in line with just that.
I did want to tell you something, man. I was what was it? So Memphis, my oldest son, he's 5 years old. And I was like, I think it was probably a week before we had the baby. I was telling Erica, I was like, man, I'm having a hard time communicating with this kid. And it's not, I just couldn't figure out what it was. And because he's way different than I was at 5 years old. Like he has two parents, like he got this house, like he has everything, you know, and he's a sweet kid, man. He's really a good kid. And I'm just having a hard time because we have different personalities. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna call my sister, right? So I called my sister, I'm like, hey, how was I at 5 years old? And she was like, she said, Negro, I don't know. That's my sister, man. Like, I'm like, dang, bro, I'm trying to have a serious talk. She was like, I don't know. Then she was like, no, I'm just playing. She said, I'm just playing. She was like, but she was like, you was quiet, you know. And I was like, what you mean? She was like, you was just quiet. Like you was to yourself, but that wasn't your fault. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, because what was happening to you at 5. Like the way daddy was beating on you and how he would lock you in rooms, like how he treated you, like you was different, you know. You just didn't talk a lot. You just stayed quiet. And she said, that's probably why you struggling, because you don't know how to communicate, because all you remember is that you was just isolated and just in a room. And I started thinking, I was like, dang, I was. You know what I'm saying? I was either in a room that he would lock me in where my sister would have to sneak me food, or you know, I was getting beat for just speaking my mind, you know, and stuff. And my sister, she's a little older than me. And man, to her credit, my sister's so smart, man. She always was hip to game. Like, she always knew how to play the game. And I just never could do it. I could lie about how I'm feeling, you know, and she could. Like, she'd be like, Jay, just tell him, just say this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And she was like, please. She like said, please, I don't want to hear you get beat. You know, like just do it. And I'm like, nah, I want to stay with mama. And it was like, no, say you want to stay with him so you can come be with me. And I'm like, nah, it's wrong. You know, I'm saying this as a kid. You know, and I'm still like that. I don't care.
Honestly, I was telling Diane about that. I'll talk to you about that off camera, but the same thing. Like, you're just too real. Just one of the people just too real, where it's like, yeah. I
can't, bro. And that's the same approach that I'm going to take with this, like, regardless of what the comments say. Like, I'm here to speak and have content, and you guys are here to comment. Mm-hmm. Like, in the words of Tim Ross, that's what he said. Like, I like what he said. I was like, that's right. I said, that's right. They do. They
gonna start cussing people out?
No, I ain't gonna.
I was like, bro, come on. Come on, bro. Is that necessary?
Nah, I can't do that, bro. Like, I gotta have some type of character.
This dude did you see that?
Hey, I did. I saw it. I was laughing.
What's your opinion on that? You just laughing?
Hey, yo, man, look, I'm gonna
hot take.
Nah, I'm gonna be real. My boy, it was funny because my boy Isaiah had made a video on it, Isaiah Saldivar. Y'all should check out his channel. He is freaking out of this world. Isaiah Saldivar. He had did something, and he spoke on it, and I was like, yo, I know what you're talking about. Like, I texted him, and we was texting, and he was like, yeah, man, it's good. Like, he was like, and I was like, it's good, and it's the truth. But it's like, I can't sit up here and say, me, personally, like, I can't. I have a presentation when I'm representing the kingdom, and I'll be wrong if I say I won't slip up in my personal life and do something out of pocket. But you ain't too many things that can get me out of character that's just gonna make me pop off easily like that. Like I done had too much said to me. I believe for me personally that God's prepared me for a platform like this. So it ain't really too much you can do. Now I'm gonna be real with you. Ain't no turning the cheek if you coming in my face though. Like I just gotta keep it a buck with you. Like if you coming in, if you get out, and this is still in me. If you step anywhere within the step punch range, it gotta happen. Like that's just what it is. But as far as me cursing and talking crazy, bro, I ain't got time for that. I really never been that way. Yeah. Like I ain't about to talk. I ain't going back and forth with you, man. I'm gonna say what I say. You either deal with it or you don't. But if if it's a verbal thing, you can have that. But if it's physical, like we can make it happen. But
little Bible down and go eye for it.
Hey, man. Like I ain't said be Christ-like. Christ-like.
No, I mean Jesus was whooping. Jesus had the whip out in the church, man.
If they got in the way, I bet he would have hit him. I bet if folks tried to stop him, he would have hit him with that whip.
Well, that's when they decided to crucify him. Whoever got hit, he's like, "Hey, yo, Jesus."
Well, you a fool, boy.
Dude, that was the main snitch.
It's all good, man. Like I just never want to be one of those people too, man. It's folks that feed off of talking about other Christians that's trying to create content. I hate that, man. Like I love what Tim Ross is doing. I love what Ruslan is doing. Yeah. I love what Isaiah. I love Alan Parr. What do you mean? I love all these dudes, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, but I can't stand when I see folks, they literally create a platform and they say they're Christian to talk about these people, and it just be like, come on, man, put something else that's edifying now. Let me hear about your walk. Let me hear something, because you talking like you just always been solid in the faith. You talking like you ain't come from nothing. Like God ain't brought you out of nothing. You just so ready to talk down and bring these people down because they have a slip up or they say something that you don't agree with. I don't like that type of stuff, bro.
Jesus. So I think one of the disciples go to Jesus. I'm paraphrasing, but they go to Jesus and say, "Hey, these people are casting out demons in your name." Jesus says, "Okay, if they're not against us, they're for us." So it's like, why in Christianity we got to be like, "Oh, you're Baptist, you're Lutheran, you're A, B, C, D, E," and it just causes the people who aren't in the church to be like, "Yo, what is what?" Like
they don't understand. They watching us too, bro. Yeah. Even though they may not want to step into the church house, with all these outlets, bro, they watching people of faith.
Because it's in your face now. Honestly, all these Christian platforms are blowing up right now.
People
are watching, and that's why they can't wait to see the fall.
Yeah.
So it's like when we're imploding, it just gives them more.
See, that's why I don't fool with that. That's why I ain't trying to deal with none of that church stuff. It's fake. It's fake. Like, nah, man. Like y'all need to cut that out. But I just come from something different, man. Like I ain't about to be talking about nobody. Like I ain't got time for that, man. Like I don't know these people. They ain't saying nothing about me. Yeah. They don't know me. But it's too many people out there that know me. My audience is pretty much people that I'm seeing that look like me, that came up like me. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody start talking crazy, I know I got people that can vouch for me. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't even worried about. I let folks handle that, man. But back to the question when I had brought up about my son, about Memphis, like.
My bad, bro.
No, it's good.
I'm like a stumbling block. I'm a sty in your eye.
That's what it is. That's all good, bro. That's what we doing. We got chemistry like that. But that has changed though. That changed because I knew right then that like I have to build something new for him and for me. Yeah. Because as he grows, I grow. Mm-hmm. What's new to him is new to me. Because that's what I'm realizing with all my sons. Like all of this is brand new, and I just need to be faithful in my time with the Lord so that I steward it the right way, and guide them the right way. And I'm ready, man. I have a sense of urgency now with my boys. I need to cover them and equip them to have their identity in Christ, so that they're not getting caught up in any of this flagrant talk out here. This just foolishness. It's all this buffoonery. Like, I'm like, nah, man, like, I'm happy that they have me as a dad.
Bro, it's such a privilege, bro, because for me, it's my daughter. It's like my wife, the way she grew up is totally different than me.
Yeah.
But I see my daughters, and I'm like, knowing my wife's story, I'm like, I get to be that person who wasn't there to protect my wife. I get to actually raise them and train them in Christ and be there for them the way that she was out. She was so vulnerable growing up. So I take that like it's a privilege to actually have that role, you know? And for you, it's like just knowing your story too. It's the opposite. Like you already said. You said Diana's like you. Like, like it's the opposite for y'all. So you actually get that opportunity to like really instill something that, man, like, because you went through so much, bro. Like, I think about the podcast and things you told me when we first started off, and it's just like, and I look at your house with your little innocent son is walking around, and it's like, it's such a blessing because there's so many ignorant men who, because I went through it, you gonna go through it, if not worse.
Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy.
That's actually a good segue, bro, because I think when all you know is what you know, that's what you're gonna do. And that's not always a good thing. That especially when it comes to your children. Like if you are still in your early to late 30s, 40s, and you still living for the weekend, and that's a positive thing to you, don't be surprised when your children take that to the next level. And they go beyond what you're doing, and then you trying to reel them in when you 60 years old and it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it's really about understanding like how to discipline them, a healthy dose of discipline for our children, and also a healthy dose of loving and encouraging and speaking life over them, and just building up their foundation, man, in Christ, man, especially for just our Christian community, man. Because you know what I see a lot of, and I know you see this too, I get mad, bro, when I'm at church and I just see lazy dudes, bro. Just lazy men. Yeah. They just lazy, bro. They just ain't even trying to like be present. And they wife always got to be the one that's doing the most, and you don't even know she.
Is that a cultural thing, bro? Cause I be doing the same thing. I'm like, yo, what is it? Me?
I'm gonna tell you what. Can I tell you a pet peeve of mine?
Yeah.
I hate seeing the woman drive.
Bro.
A lot of
we're the same. Bro.
Hey, I ain't talking about nobody. I'm just saying that's something that I hate.
If you think
I'm talking about everybody.
Get in the passenger seat.
People gonna see me walk past the car. They gonna be like, "Dang it,
Dog,
get out the car, get out the car." Like, nah, that's something I can't stand, bro. I can't stand. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care how tired you are, bro. She tired too. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, drive.
Yeah.
Like,
at least.
Did nobody tell you to move to Maricopa?
All right, maybe I'm wrong about this, but because speaking of that,
What?
So I feel like in Christianity, we talk a lot about pride. Pride is the devil, yada, yada, yada. But I was telling my wife, there's like a sense of pride that you have to have when you do certain things. Because a lot of times, like when you don't have that at all, as a man, you're cool to just let your wife do all this stuff because you don't feel a way. But like I don't know, maybe this is just me, but something inside you should be like, you know what? Maybe I should drive this time. Maybe I should pump the gas. Maybe I should open the door. And I feel like maybe that's having like a sense of pride. But what do you think about that?
Nah, bro. I'm happy you brought up that word because that's something I've been sensing that I need to deal with in me. It's sometimes we can carry pride in an area that we're not even aware of. And let's keep it in. I'm trying to see if I can say something practical. I can be prideful in the way that I've been raising my kids up until this age, and thinking that I can continue to do the same thing as they get older. Or me and Erica, it would be prideful and arrogant if we kept doing things the same way with 3 kids that we did with 2 kids.
Yeah.
And so that's just a practical aspect, but it came to me, if we're afraid to deal with pride as men, then don't be surprised when God leave you hanging when you're trying to pray about certain things and you realize he's not answering your prayers, or you feel like he's not hearing you because you're not really dealing with the thing that he wants to deal with. And you might have some pride with how you handle business, with how you talk to your wife, with how you guys do finances, with how you raising your kids, with how you go about talking to your coworkers, like whatever it may be. It's pride behind a lot of things because you probably chasing after something and pursuing something because you feel like you deserve it. You know, and I think that's something that I've learned, especially coming off the first season, where I just want to make sure that I'm focusing on the quality of what God wants us to put out versus quantity to try to grow something that's outside of how he wants to grow it. And that's been a humbling aspect of my time off and getting back to it. Yes, I've been eager, but I was waiting. I wasn't trying to rush it. I wasn't trying to, you know what I'm saying, like go past where he wanted me to go. But everything, I just stayed persistent. I kept writing things down, writing ideas down, and just staying prayerful and just waiting for the opportunity to present itself. And then once me and you talked and we got everything squared away and we lined it up, I think what we're about to do is going to be beautiful, bro. You know, and I think it's going to change in both our families too. I think what we're about to do this time around is going to just affect the whole eco of people. Yeah. It's going to create an ecosystem, and I just think we got to focus on that, man. Just be mindful of it too. Don't be afraid to die to yourself and to kill that pride in you. Mm-hmm. You know, I know we just celebrated a whole month of it. the one sin that God hates, we made a month about it. Crazy, bro. But that's the one thing I just want to always die to. I want to die to myself, man. I want to die to myself. I want to die to whatever I try to, bring to God, as if I can make a deal with him to do what I want him to do. You know, and that all it does is just make him laugh, probably. like, come on, Adrian. Bro. Like, come on, bro. Yeah. Like, I done brought you out of too much stuff for you to think that you come over here and play me like this. Yeah. You know, sometimes we think we can fool God, you know, and that's what we just run into roadblocks after roadblocks until we ready to humble ourselves and say we were wrong. Mm-hmm. I was wrong, Lord, forgive me. I want to repent of my mindset, the way I come to you, and even when we worship, we're not worshiping him, we're worshiping like, what can I get from him in this moment? It's like, no, you still good regardless of how bad things are. Like, I know that, you know, this is going on in my life, but God, I'm so thankful for the life you've given me. I'm just thankful for the health of my children. I thank you that my marriage is intact. Like, I thank you that I don't have to think about, what we're gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the way he's been covering us, you know, in this whole time, it's just really humbling, man. And I think that's something that we both can take away and just be mindful of in this time. And you guys can take it away too.
No, bro, it's so funny because I just look at like how like at times this year I've been like stressed out about certain things, but then it's like you look up and it's like, oh, God was literally carrying me the whole time, whether I was breaking my back to get paid or I was chilling. Like, God, he's been consistent, you know? It's really important, bro.
He's always faithful, man. Mm-hmm. I know we like to say that in in church, but he's definitely faithful.
No, he really is.
He's definitely faithful, man. It's have you ever had a moment where you by yourself and you just start smiling because you just realized how God showed up?
Mm-hmm. Bro, it's like 2 days ago. Bro.
You just, bro. It happens like that. It happens like that, right? Yeah. Like, you just be like, dang, that was you. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it was me. You finally saw it. Like, I love those moments because it humbles you, man. Yeah. It's like, dang, I was worried for nothing, and you just came out, came up.
Me and my wife, we were like praying about, so we went on a consecration like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We're like fasting and like just praying, like worshiping it for like 3 days. Yeah. And then by the time it was over, we're like, God, you know what? I know what our needs are, but like, our life is in your hands. So if that isn't satisfied, good. And then the next week he satisfies the need, and it's like, yo, that's just, you did it. Like, me and my wife, we were like after the consecration, like, it's gonna be crazy to see how God works this. Like, and then once we saw it, like, we literally reflect 3 days later, and we're like, oh shoot, like, we were literally trying to figure out how he was gonna do it, you know? Yeah. Bro, it literally just gives you so much joy, bro, and just gratitude.
So much, man. Like, gosh, man, I don't even know how I don't even know how to explain it sometimes, just the joy that God gives. Like, I remember it was a moment, and we can end after this, but it was a moment where I was, in this time off, I was starting to doubt myself. Like, I was at a point where I wanted to quit the podcast and just sell all the equipment and, just get rid of it.
Yeah, it was real.
Like it was getting to that point. And I remember vaguely, praying and saying, like, Lord, if I'm not hearing you, can you please send the people that you want to speak to me through? And literally, bro, the next day, it was 3 guys, bro. 3 random guys not random guys, but 3 brothers that I know that randomly called me and asked how I was doing. They just wanted to talk, like, out of nowhere. And in those moments, I took advantage of that because it took me a minute to realize, like, oh, this is God trying to get me to open up about what I'm feeling. And in that, if I never would have did that, they would have never been able to encourage me, to pray over me, to help me to keep going, and even speaking to my wife and having her, help me to keep going. And it just gave me this broad perspective, man. And that's just my challenge for us as men and women of God. If there's anything that you may be questioning the path that God has you on, don't avoid the process. Don't try to skip steps. Don't try to maneuver and go anywhere else. Just trust where he has you. Sit in that and pray and wait and seek his face and die to yourself if you have any type of pride or arrogance or anything that you feel like is that you can do on your own, that you're harboring. Like, deal with that. Deal with those feelings and just cast all your burdens on him. Really, really die to yourself and really spend this time in some deep prayer. And if there's anybody that you've offended that you need to get rid of, any family member, friends, whoever, deal with that stuff so God can elevate you to the next level. Because he's probably waiting to open that door because you ain't dealing with what you need to deal with. Because what he's ready to bring to you, he needs you to be able to handle it at full capacity. And as long as you holding on to this mess, you're not going to be able to operate where he wants you to operate at. So I just encourage you guys to please seek his face, die to yourself, and just let God do the rest. Even if podcast, guys.
That even if I go through the fire, I'm right there beside you. Even if I'm facing Goliath, you made me